Hey everyone, I'm David Finz. And on this episode of the Cyber Insurance Imperative, we're going to take another trip across the pond to see what our British cousins have been up to in the area of cybersecurity, because what's happening over there could well find its way here. And just this past week, the UK government announced new reporting requirements on managed service providers around the disclosure of cyber incidents. This comes along with the establishment of minimum security standards for MSPs. Under this update to the Network and Information System regulations, the fines for non-compliance can range as high as £17 million. That's $20 million at the current exchange rate. The new regs will take effect as soon as Parliament allows. Now, what's prompting this flurry of regulatory activity? Well, MSPs are the backbone of much of our IT infrastructure. They're especially important for small businesses who may not have an in-house techie to manage their network, and they can often serve as a gateway to attacking customers of the MSP. Here in the States, folks may recall the attack on Kaseya, which reverberated through its customer base. And as the BBC reported earlier this year, an MSP that supports the National Health Service was the victim of a ransomware attack that ended up severely compromising patient care. Now, why should folks here in the USA care so much about what the Brits are doing? Well, as we saw with GDPR, overseas regulators are sometimes a step ahead of us Americans on the regulatory front, and just like California and some other states, have begun to implement rules that in many ways mirror the data privacy standards in Europe. We shouldn't be surprised if federal and state regulators take a cue from London in this area. After all, MSPs present an attractive target for hackers and other bad actors. And at present, it's harder in some states to get a license to braid hair than it is to hold yourself out as a managed service provider. So, if you want to get to the root cause of what leaves so many small and mid-sized businesses vulnerable to an attack, some oversight of these providers is in order. But you don't have to wait for Washington or your state government to step in here. There are things that your business can do right now around vendor management that will help reduce the likelihood of a cyber attack and help you recover more quickly if one does occur. There are the obvious questions, like asking about the security and privacy protocols the MSP follows. But don't neglect the contract wording, because that spells out the rights and responsibilities of the parties. Is there a cap on the MSP's liability, and is it negotiable? Will they agree to defend and indemnify your business in the event that you are named in a lawsuit by a downstream customer as a result of the MSP's negligence? Do they carry cyber insurance, and can your business be named as an additional insured on their policy? This last one is especially important in case the MSP becomes insolvent or is otherwise unable or unwilling to pay. And there are some things to look for in your own insurance policy as well. Check to see that you have coverage for a dependent business interruption. That is to say, the lost income and extra expense that you incur as a result of an outage to your provider's network, not just your own. You should also check to see whether your policy allows you to waive subrogation on behalf of your insurer, in case your contract with the MSP requires it. You don't want to get into a situation where you have committed to something that is unenforceable and could serve as grounds for the vendor to allege a breach of contract should your insurer pursue a recovery from them. Now, all of this is intended as general information and guidance, and you'll want to consult with a qualified insurance broker about your specific coverage needs. And if your broker isn't having these conversations with you, maybe it's time that you discover the more rewarding way to manage risk. So DM me on LinkedIn or email me at david.finz@alliant.com, and I'll be happy to review your current policy language and offer any suggestions for improvement. Thanks for watching.